All right, welcome. We got some trade news, kind of a big trade. I'm wearing my Blues jersey because it's Tarasenko, but I do think the New York Rangers, at least at the surface, win this trade. So I'm wearing my hat that resembles Rangers colors. Anyway, essentially the Rangers get Vladimir Tarasenko. 50% of his salary is retained, so the Rangers only have to pick up $3.75 million. And Mikkola, who is a solid young defenseman. I think he's like 26. Both of these players are on expiring contracts, however. But I love Mikkola. He's a good defensive defenseman. Sound defensive positioning. I love Mikkola quite a bit. So I think that's a huge pickup. Yes, they have to take on another contract, but it's a pretty cheap contract. He's a solid player for what you get. I think Mikkola really helps boost up that Rangers blue line. In Tarasenko, it's a little offensive depth, right? So he probably won't be he'll probably be playing on that second line, but he can put the puck in the net. He's won a Stanley Cup with the Blues a few years ago. One of those veteran guys, and he might end up being happier in New York. So we'll see. I think both of these guys are going to make a pretty substantial impact to the Rangers lineup to finish off the season and into the playoffs. I really like this move for the Rangers. I don't want to see the Rangers get better, but both of these players make the Rangers better. So there's that. Of course, there's always a cost to make your team better, right? So they trade out Sammy Blais. I think that was really just to make the salary cap work. Blais, bottom six forward, decent, brings a little bit of defense and a little bit of grit every now and then. Not a whole lot of grit, but nonetheless, they got a prospect in Hunter Skinner. Hunter Skinner, 2019 fourth round pick by the Blues. He's a right defenseman, 20 years old. Spent, I don't know, what did he play, like 49 games last year in the AHL in Hartford. Defensive defenseman, by the looks of it, through the numbers. And he spent only 8 games in the AHL this year and the rest in the ECHL, which is a tier below the AHL. And the AHL is a tier below the NHL. The picks are intriguing, though. Guaranteed first-round pick. Now, the New York Rangers have 2 picks. They have their own first-round pick, and they have Dallas's first-round pick. That's 2 first-round picks the Rangers have, which is great. I didn't know that. But the Blues will get the worst of those 2 picks. So if the Rangers make a run to the Stanley Cup, the Blues will get the Rangers pick. It'll be like a 31 or 32 pick. But if Dallas makes the run to the playoffs, and maybe it was Stanley Cup, then they'll get the Dallas pick. Whichever one's worse. And then it's a conditional, I don't know. I've seen a conditional third round or a conditional fourth round. Doesn't really matter. Cap Friendly has neither, so there's that. I don't really know what's going on there. But essentially, it's a third round pick if the Rangers make the playoffs. It's a fourth round pick if the Rangers miss the playoffs. The Rangers, I would be shocked if they miss the playoffs, even prior to this trade. I think this trade makes it more likely that they make the playoffs, but nonetheless, it's a playoff team. It's a team that has a playoff caliber roster and solid coaching. It would shock me if they miss the playoffs at all. It would also shock me if they were out in the first round. I think they'll make a decent run. Nonetheless, not too bad. Not too bad of a pickup for the Rangers. The Blues get something out of it. They get kind of a prospect. Who knows if he turns into something? He's currently 20 years old. He's still young. Defensemen take a little longer to develop, and that's okay. You get a first-round pick, even though it's probably going to be a later pick because both of the first-round picks the Rangers had are teams that should be in the playoffs and both have potential to make some type of run in the playoffs. So it's probably a later first-round pick, but a first-round pick nonetheless. Remember, David Pastrnak was taken late in the first round by the Boston Bruins. And you get a third and fourth-round pick, which may pan out to something. And you get a prospect that also may pan out to something. So I think it's pretty straightforward that the Rangers are the winners of this trade. But the Blues finally trade Tarasenko and submit to his trade request. Mikkola, I think, will be happy in a New York Rangers uniform. The Blues get some salary cap relief. They get something instead of nothing, letting these two guys walk away in free agency. Should they choose to. Mikkola should get a nice pay increase. It's not going to be astounding, but at least a couple million more than what he's making now. Tarasenko may not, but you're also going to lose Tarasenko in the offseason for nothing, and you know you're going to lose him. So you might as well get something for him. So the Blues get something in a situation where they could have gotten nothing. So you can't be too mad at what they actually got in exchange for Tarasenko and Mikkola, because something's better than nothing in this scenario. Overall, though, I think it's a good trade. I think both teams benefit a bit. The big thing is just getting something back for Tarasenko. He's such a good player. He's come back from injury. He's looked good since coming back from injury. He's kind of looked like his old self. To just let him walk away in free agency when he's made it clear he's not re-signing with you for years. It's good to at least get something, and if it's a first-round pick, even better. So that's great. Again, these two guys, I'm just impressed. Like, these two guys are going to be such a good fit on the New York Rangers. I'm excited to see them play. Yeah, I mean, winner, but the Blues, it could be worse. You could not have another first-round pick. You could not have another conditional third, fourth-round pick. I don't know. You could have one less prospect in your pool. So, it is what it is. It's one of those things. Interesting trade. It was kind of shocking. At first, I didn't see Tarasenko's name, and I thought it was just Mikkola in exchange for all this. And at first glance, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. Then I saw Tarasenko's name, and I was like, whoa, that's not enough. But nonetheless, huge trade. Both of these teams. Tarasenko, the face of the franchise, he's been on NHL video game covers. It's a big, the Blues are shifting away from their identity they had years ago. So let me know what you guys think. Do these guys re-sign in New York with the Rangers next season? Do they make a significant impact to the Rangers going deep into the playoffs? Do the Blues get enough? Is this enough for having to part ways with a guy you know is going to walk in 20 to 30 games? Right? It's only playoffs. Playoffs are like 30 games away for most teams, if not less. That's kind of crazy. So, a first round pick, even though it's late, for 30 less games of Tarasenko when you know he's not going to resign there. Is that enough? Do you think the Blues could have gotten more for both of these guys? Personally, I think so. I think Mikkola's a little undervalued in this. Mikkola alone he's one of those guys that can provide a lot for a lot of teams that really need defensive stability. And there are a lot of teams looking for a solid defensive defenseman that could use a guy like Mikkola. Quite a few teams that are looking for a guy like Mikkola. So I don't know. Maybe the Blues get a little more. I don't really know. I'm waiting for more details to come out about how this was bundled together. I wasn't expecting Mikkola to get dealt. I was expecting him to get re-signed by the Blues in this offseason. So it's interesting. Other than that, it's kind of straightforward. It is what it is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for watching. Take care.